Hello, and this is the BarHaven Podcast. We're really excited for this. This is going to be our pilot episode. My name is Jack. I'm the coordinator with BarHaven. I'm
Carlo. I'm the founder and the master of fables today.
My name is Nick. I'm a BarHaven with DM.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I am one of the DMs at BarHaven, also the favorite.
And if you don't know what BarHaven is a tabletop and D&D community in Houston, Texas. We started about 2 years ago, which is a little crazy. Me and Carlo basically met on Facebook and then in a bar. And he was tipsy and I'm overachieving, and we started a company, which is super exciting to get to the point where we start a podcast. We have locations all over Houston. Tonight, we left one of our favorites, which is Darwin's Pub. We also have another location at Coral Sword at the moment in Houston. But tonight, we're actually going to focus on a couple of different things. One of the things that we're going to talk about is how we got started in D&D. So I'm actually going to give it over to Carlo. Carlo, how did you get started in D&D?
I got started in middle school, so this is better than 30 years ago. A boy I was very dear friends with and also had the nascent version of a crush on asked if I wanted to play D&D. We had done theater, we'd done improv together, and I showed up to the art teacher's classroom after school. He handed me a piece of paper that said I was a monk named Barf, and I was skilled in sugary. And I didn't know what sugary meant, but I was like, all right, and I tried to use it to charm somebody. I'm going to use sugary? No, you can't use it for that. Okay, I'm going to use it. Oh, we're cooking. I'm going to use sugary? No, you can't use it for that. Turned out he was very pretty, but very dumb. He meant surgery, and he had written sugary. But my monk Barf was able to destroy a storm giant by freezing it solid. Someone had a spell that froze it solid. I said, so it's frozen for how long? About 10 minutes. I'm going to saw into its neck.
Ooh.
So 10 minutes of just...
Ooh, that's
I apologize, Chip. Sawing through the neck, the head falls over, and they're like, that was a really cool way to solve that, and you ruined my fight. And the DM told me that it was the art teacher, and he had told me that was a really interesting idea, and personally I was bored with this fight. You got us all out of there earlier. We got to move on, and he revealed to me one of the secrets that I've always carried with me is if the fight is boring, let him loophole out of it.
Always got a loophole. My mother has a similar story of how she got into. I'm going to stop Carlo there for a second because I forgot to introduce Jib. Now, Jib doesn't have a mic at the moment. He's giving us a thumbs up. He has volunteered to be our audio specialist at the moment. I was originally going to attempt this particular task, but it is too late because Jib has been volunteered himself and voluntold by me. And I might pay him for it.
He is doing great, and he's looking good doing it.
Yeah, he is.
It's the hair.
It's the hair.
This is a well-oiled machine.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to go over to Nick. Nick, how did you get started in BarHaven?
Yeah, so...
Not BarHaven, just in D&D.
D&D in general, I started in college, so I came to it kind of late. You know, I was just a young man taking stock of my life and realizing that... for all the things I'm into, comic books, video games, comic book movies, which were just kind of starting to come into their own at the time, the only nerdy thing that I didn't have on my resume was D&D. So I bought the 4th edition box starter set, which we'll probably talk about those sometime. They're not the best way to get into the game, in my opinion, much less with 4th edition. But yeah, I wrangled all my friends into it. Much chaos ensued over the coming months and years. We experimented with 4th edition Pathfinder, eventually 5th when that came out, but kind of faded in and out of it until... And I apologize because I think you're going to do a lot of these interviews and you're probably going to get this answer a lot.
That's okay.
Until Critical Role dropped on the world. And that pretty much sealed the deal.
Yeah, nothing against Critical Role, but we all love it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Hi, that's me.
How'd you get started in D&D?
So funny enough, you said Pathfinder. Pathfinder is actually where I started, also in college. My friend was like, "Hey, Brandon, do you want to try this game out?" And I'm like, "Sure." I have nothing going on. So I had my first game. They gave me all the PDFs for it, and I just ate the entire Pathfinder handbook in like a weekend. And I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. I should probably apologize to my friend for making fun of him for it. So then I started playing, and the game ended very prematurely. And I'm just like, I need more, like a crack addict. So I'm like, you know what? If I want more, I'm going to have to do this myself. And I went to Barnes & Noble. I saw the books were really expensive, and I had very little money. Turns out a lot of it is on the internet for free. So I just jumped into GMing because no one ever wants to do that. And here I am, 10 years later.
That's exciting, and we're proud of you for it.
Thank you.
The
You
Circle of
should be.
BarHaven does not in any way condone the act of using illegally downloaded PDFs.
Oh, no. The Pathfinder one is on their official website, just for freezies.
Those are legally downloaded, so we have no comment on those. That's fine. Go for it.
Those are totally fine.
We have comment on those. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free stuff is nice.
Also, not being the hugest fan of Wizards of the Coast, so
Hey, don't say
Why?
that on
Is it
there.
because they constantly do dumb things?
that's putting it mildly.
No comment, Carlo. No comment.
I have several comments.
I never
Yeah.
even heard of the Pinkertons.
Okay, so I got started in D&D, I want to say, like middle school for me. I think I'm the youngest here.
Just a wee bab.
Jib's here.
Yep.
Jib's raising his hand. I got started in middle school, and honestly, it probably got started around like 5 years old. My mother, she got started when she was in high school, college, probably in the 70s or so.
Does she still have dice?
Yeah, she does, probably.
That's hot.
She's cool.
When is she going to come play?
I'm trying to persuade her now. I talk about my mom a lot. But she used to do this sort of role play game when I was a kid. So, you know when your parents tell you stories before you go to bed?
I was about to say that's a different kind of role play. We don't talk about that here.
Ha 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 ha. We used to come up with stories, and I would be the princess or the knight in shining armor or the dragon, and I would act out these scenarios. My mom would narrate as it happened. So instead of telling stories, I and my mom, and sometimes my dad, would act out these scenarios of the princess and the knight and these great battles to win the story and have the great fortune and stuff like that. And so that involved me learning about like storytelling and fables and Grimm's fairy tales and all of this stuff. And that evolved into basically playing D&D.
That's so cool to me.
Yeah,
I
it's-
love that.
it's
And
pretty
Cutest
cool.
thing in the world. That is so charming.
I think
Yeah, I was about
it's
to say,
such a
can I interject
shame.
and just say that is the cutest shit I have
That's
ever heard?
amazing, and I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's a
cute.
shame that so many adults lose that
Oh, it's fun. We play it now.
as they grow up. Yeah,
That's what D&D's for,
fantastic.
is adult storytelling.
exactly. Yeah.
But basically, when I got to high school, I found a group, which, you know, the campaign never ends, or it ends, and you're just like, well, that was fun. Next
I
one.
think I have finished 2 campaigns in the entirety of my life.
That's impressive, honestly.
I know, right?
Yeah, in the 10 years you play D&D, you
Yeah.
only finished 2. That's crazy.
One of the weird things about me is I have a reputation for finishing my campaigns.
I know you do. You're a professional.
In 15 years, I've had 2 campaigns that I was personally running that just fizzled out. It always we have a beginning, we have an alpha, and we have the end. We have the omega. We always go tell a story. We sometimes it's rushed. I'll admit that. You know, I'll admit that openly, but I don't like just I guess the story never ends. No, I wanted the end. We're going to get to it at the end.
Yeah, I just finished my first campaign ever with BarHaven quite recently. I wasn't running that one. I was a player. But it was so sweet
It's great when
That's
you get to finish the
awesome.
story.
to have a conclusion to that character and that story. if I could, I would just sit here and tell the story of that campaign this whole time.
Get like excited about it. Yeah. It's like adrenaline.
I personally cannot wait to finish Magical Girls. I am so
No.
excited.
So
you need to explain what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in Brandon's game. Brandon here is my GM for a Sunday campaign. So every Sunday we have a group of girls who gets together. I think there's 6 of us now.
There are 6 of us now.
And we play a Magical Girls kind of 80s themed girl power friendship.
Don't forget Hot Girl Summer.
Hot Girl Summer. We go to a lot of strip clubs in this game.
You sure do. That wasn't my plan.
It's
it
like
just
every
happened.
other episode. It's fantastic. And Brandon's doing absolutely fantastic. This last game, we fought a 6-headed dragon.
A Draco Hydra. The
Yeah.
best of both things.
Oh my goodness. It was insane. And there's so much, it's so much fun. That's the one thing I'm really, really proud of for BarHaven is the amount of like ladies we have and the queer community that's involved and the openness that we have. I love that I have 6 girls in a game right now. It's absolutely fantastic. 1, because of the strip clubs, and 2, because the strip club is named Banana Hammock. And that's
Some of my
That's-
finest work.
that's euphoric right there.
Was that on the spot?
No. Okay. So I have actually 2 strip clubs in my game. There's there's the Bananarama, catered to mostly the women, and then there's the Clam Jams for the guys.
Sure. Okay.
You know, as you do. But you can imagine they don't really go to that one,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
We'll go eventually.
See, my fear is always making up the name of a bar or something on the spot and having it sound like a strip club. But you've just fully embraced it.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and we're actually going to move on to another topic, and I'm going to pop it over to Carlo because he happens to be directly involved with this. He's my coworker, our co-founder, and one of the original idea makers for BarHaven. Carlo, how did you get started with BarHaven?
In the very seedling, the very, very, very beginnings of this, I wanted to bring professionalism to the idea of a professional dungeon master. Because every once in a while, this is many years ago, but predating BarHaven, there would be people would even bring up the idea, what if I charge for DMing a game? And people would get horribly offended. Some people still get upset at the idea, but I would hear about it, and there was never any professional approach. It wasn't a service. It was, I am deigning to DM for you. You owe me everything. My word is law. Instead of it being more of a performance art, interactive storytelling approach. So I started trying to get into, find a market for that. And I started originally at Coral Sword, at a cafe here in Houston for gaming and trading card games, and excellent coffee. I started there, met Sandy, one of the owners, and I started running games. And I was literally charging $1 to play for the first couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, so I buy 3 cups of coffee while I'm here. And that's my entire week of running games. So I wasn't making any money on it. But I was working on the approach of having this. I'm going to lead a table, not just run a table. I'm going to take them on go with them on an adventure, not just send them on an adventure. And having this service attitude approach to running these games. And at this point, I'd written 1 novel. I'd started a second one. I'd been recognized by the Stage Fight Directors of America Guild in single sword combat for the stage. I had taught improv. I had flown to Edinburgh, Scotland, to perform Julius Caesar in the dialect you would have heard at the Globe Theatre during its original run. I have done a bunch of Shakespeare, a bunch of modern plays. I've done all this. I'm in a movie with Chris Evans. I've done all these things that make me that give me a lot of room at a table.
I'm learning a lot about Carlo at the moment.
I'm not following that.
I promise it's
Ooh.
not.
He's done shit. I was wrong.
I've done a lot of shit, but it's none of it went anywhere. None of it. But by putting all that together and mixing it with this service attitude, I came up with what we call as BarHaven the 4 pillars of interactive storytelling, which we'll go into some other time. But coming up with those worked. The tables worked. People were asking me no, I want to pay more than you're asking for. And I don't know how to make money, which is why none of those other things worked. And And I kept trying, and Crystal, who is the third founder, but Jack, Crystal, and I together, this is how this works. Crystal is the one who can see what's going to go wrong. So she's like, "You're not asking enough money. You need to get someone who knows how to do business. You need to know how to advertise. You need to be able to get this in front of people who are going to sign up to do this." And then one of the events, I think at Equal Parts Brewery. This is now just before we fully became BarHaven. Jack walks in, says, "My mom said I had to do this." Played a game, and then was like, and then just sat down. Like after the game, she just sat down. And this is actually one of the very few times we've actually played together. She just sat down. I think Crystal ran that game. She sat down and just said, I think I can make this work." And then you started telling me about your amazing credentials. Which I'm not going to go on to like, running a huge con basically on your own Steam, a huge convention on your own Steam. But she never brings it up. It's weird. But when she told me that, I was like, we agreed. We're like, okay, so if Crystal can make sure we don't waste the money and are prepared for everything to go wrong, so we don't go into these obvious pitfalls that I will just walk into. I can get the philosophy and I can get the service attitude brought to running games. Jack can make this an actual business like adults are running it. And the circle of BarHaven really started, the gears started to move. That's when it that's where the momentum, that's the hole in the engine to get the train on the tracks.
Yeah.
I had a train and I had no idea to make it move.
Yeah, I'm really proud. And it's incredible how this works because Carlo has this amazing storytelling ability in sales, and he can say things correctly, and he can walk into a bar and make it sound like we're gonna fix their profit by the end of the week. I take what he says and take what we do and put it online and make pretty graphics and stuff like that. I do a little bit more than that, but
A lot more.
You do make really good graphics.
yeah, I'm really proud of the graphics. Okay. And then Crystal steps in and says, "Hey, don't fuck up. Don't make that choice. By the way, this needs to cost this much. Please don't spend money here. You need to spend money here." And, pays all of our game masters at the moment. And it's this three-way. If, we vote on something, if we don't agree on something, we'll discuss it. There's not really any arguments. It's, a discussion to make things successfully work in the future, and it's worked so far, so I'm here for it.
We very quickly came up with the idea that two need to agree. We threw out the idea very quickly that I'm the founder with like quotation marks on it. It was very quickly that if they disagree, if they disagree, then we go with that. If whoever gets outvoted. I get the option, and every one of us has the option to say, "Hear me out. This is why I think we should do that." If the other two are remaining unconvinced, then we don't do it. If the two others are like, "We're for it," one is like, "I'm not sure," we go for it. And so far, that's worked out in trusting each other and listening to what we know the other is good at.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm going to flip it to the other side now. Now, that was the business side. I'm going to go to the kind of player, game master, dungeon master, D&D enthusiast. I'm going to start with Brandon this time. Brandon, how did you get started with BarHaven? How did you hear about us? How did you get involved? Where did you start? Which bar? That kind of stuff.
So I was doing what 90% of Americans do. I was scrolling on Facebook in the bathroom. I just so happened to come across a lovely, lovely ad on Facebook.
How are the graphics? Were they cute?
Oh, they were so cute. The
Nice.
Cutest. It was at the Platypus Pub.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was
The event that shall not be spoken about.
Really?
Boy, howdy.
I don't know about this.
I'll tell it in a second. Brandon, continue.
So I'm like, I was kind of going back and forth with it. I was like, do I go to this? It's in the middle of Houston. I hate driving into Houston. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm also cripplingly lonely. I need more friends. I'm going to go do this.
Hey, it was the end of COVID.
It was the end of
That
COVID.
too.
So I went there, and Platypus was not ready for how many people showed up.
Oh, there were too many people.
They were prepped for like 15. We had 60.
We had
Yeah.
78 people
Was
there.
it 78?
Yes.
78. I
Christ.
remember the number.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were not prepped for us. So, I had a game. Actually, Carlo was my first DM.
Yay.
Yay. And then
You're all welcome.
It was just a very good time. No, actually, a great welcome, a great thank you is needed, because you have to think about it. Like, in the entirety of the U.S., I've never heard of something like BarHaven. And
We are kind of a very new business venture.
and
Our lawyers were confused. Like,
I do not doubt it, and I feel sorry for them. But it's great for me, because as someone who was like, hey, getting paid to DM, that sounds amazing. I would not normally get this kind of advantage in life, and you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I did, and I regret absolutely nothing.
awesome.
I
I'm
was
glad.
teasing. I was teasing
that
about
that went.
you're welcome. But you are legitimately a very popular DM.
Yeah.
Well, you have a waiting list. So when I say you're welcome, I'm not saying you're welcome. I'm saying everyone else that is waiting to be
Oh,
on
we're
your list,
yeah,
you're all
thank you.
welcome. You're all welcome. I brought them in.
Oh, my poor ego.
He blushes. No, our platypus event was a little chaotic. I'll tell a little short story and then we'll
A little.
move on.
Ooh.
It was okay.
Yeah, I
So
wanna know
we
about this.
were looking for event space. We had a couple of events previously at a couple different bars. None were very large. And this time I was like, okay, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to do graphics. I'm going to do an ad. I'm going to take time and make posters, post them around Houston. I didn't know how popular it was, because this, again, is wholly confusing. Our lawyers were confused. I've never heard anything. This is like trivia night on steroids.
Part
It's
trivia
chaotic.
night, part karaoke, part live in-person theater.
Yeah, it's insane. So I spent a lot of time on this, and Carlo really worked hard with getting the DMs ready, and we had a couple of his friends step in for DMs and stuff like that. And I get there, and nobody was there, and I was like, oh no, maybe the parking's bad. And then suddenly,
The parking did suck.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
50 people walk in, right? And then by the
Almost
time
at
I
once.
have, yeah, almost at once, 50 people walk in, and I'm like, are you all here for D&D? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, great, fantastic.
We need more DMs.
And so I'm going around trying to find more DMs. And by the end of it, another 20, 25 people showed up. And so I'm DMing, and I called a friend of ours, Ross, in, and he came in and DM'd. And Crystal wasn't even supposed to DM, and he was there. Or she, oh my goodness. There was a lot of DMs, okay? There's a lot of people. And then we're supposed to run until 10 p.m. because normally BarHaven pop in and play games are like 3 to 4 hours. So we're supposed to play until 10. Well, the bar, and nothing against Platypus, but this particular event just went sideways, decided to close at 9. And so we're all in the middle of our, it's not like you can just turn off your video game, Mom, okay? Look, you can't just stop a story.
Yeah.
It's a multiplayer game, Mom.
It's
You don't
online.
understand.
No,
So we had to
started
move-
closing at 9. They were stated they closed at 10. They started shutting down at 9. I'm just to
you're
clarify. They knew we were supposed to be there till 10. Ownership side, they did not tell anyone that worked there. So if I remember correctly, one bartender, one server, at one person in the kitchen.
Yeah.
For the biggest night they have I think to date, this is the biggest night they've ever
We
had.
took all their outdoor tables, yeah.
Yeah, the entire thing was us.
And they had a massive outdoor.
They did.
Yeah, it's a huge patio. And so they started like shunting everyone out the door, like, okay, you need to leave, you need to close out. And like, it's 9. Okay, you can stay till 9:30. We're here till 10. Okay, 9:45. No, we're here till 10.
Yeah. The only issue, so it ended up being fine until we all figured out that they were doing auto 20% gratuity. Now, they didn't tell us really about this, so people were already tipping about 20%.
Because nerds are good tippers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another 40% of tips. And so I keep getting messages within an hour of the event. Hey, they overcharged me. Hey, can you talk to them about this? Like, hey, can I get a refund? I'm like, I don't even work there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember the Discord just blowing up with all those messages.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Why is my tip this? I hit 20%. This is closer to 40. And because I was the last one to. This is partially on me. I'm more careful about this now. This was a learning experience. I was the very last person from BarHaven to check out, and they use their point of sale system is called Toast, and it has an option where you can just auto-grad, and then after automatic gratuity of 20%, it gives the option of tipping on top of that.
Yep.
And I had heard someone say, like, they only asked for 5% or they only asked for 15%. That was weird. When I saw it, I immediately go, yeah, that's not what I ordered. Hold on. What's the breakdown here? And checked it, auto-grad 20%.
Yep.
And there was they offered you to hit 15 to 20%. And I remember one person going, like, I did the math. They did it wrong. That's not 15%. Went in and added a full 20% on top of that 20% they had been auto-grad. And when I said, well, I asked them, did you do this to everyone that was here? Like, yeah, because you're a party. We're not all one party. We're not all one group. I brought 78 people to your bar.
We are legion.
But you just had a good night, which you've never had before.
Yeah.
And your response is to burn all of us?
And we never went back.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little extra nugget of that story. Because after we were so exhausted, Crystal and I decided we were going to go down the street to it's now Beetlejuice. I don't remember if it was Beetlejuice at the time. But like right down the street from Platypus is a very cool little like dirty cocktail and pizza bar. We headed over there for a drink, and after they had closed up Platypus, the three people, the one server, the one bartender, and the one cook went over there and were thanking us for coming out. It's the biggest night they've ever seen. God, we want you guys to come back. And I said, then why did you rip off my people?
Yeah.
They were going to give you 20% on your biggest night ever. You were getting 20% from every one of these people. Why did you do and not tell them? If you autograd, we have a couple of bars that autograd.
Yeah, we have a couple bars.
And it's something they tell everyone up front.
They have a big old sign.
There's a big sign, but they did it because they were like, oh, well, we didn't know if you were coming back. This is why we don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Why would we want to come back to that? So.
Yeah, but I mean, that was kind of the start of our big events. We've had a couple since then.
We're learning.
But now I'm going to go to Nick. Nick, how did you get started?
So I just showed up one time.
It was just a mysterious Nick. It just showed up.
He just appeared from the ether.
I didn't know anyone there. I had heard about it from someone that I went on a date with from a dating app once.
We love free advertising.
That's kind of wild. What was your first location?
We did not click, but she told me about BarHaven, so it's worth
There's a
it.
positive.
Yeah.
What was your first
does she
location?
still go to BarHaven?
I do not think so. I have not seen her since.
That's okay. Which bar did you go to?
It was Rudyard's, actually.
Oh, I love Rudyard's.
I wish I could go to Rudyard's more.
They have the best food.
It's pretty good.
It was good.
Jib
yeah.
says it's
Jib's
his first as well.
Yeah.
It's a good
We love the
spot.
correlation of dating to D&D.
Yeah.
We've got a couple marriages out of this company too.
I'm trying to get my current girlfriend into it. She's very nervous.
It's all about
to
reacting.
Play with strangers, but yeah, I'm getting her there.
That's okay. I'll tell her that we got like 6 girls playing magical girls. Don't mention the strip club.
That's true. I should mention that she won't be the only woman there. That might be part of it.
Yeah. I'm very proud.
It's another flex.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
I think one of the things that BarHaven like works really well and that I'm particularly proud of is like the women, of course. We love women. That's great. Fantastic. But the fact that, you as a player, you don't have to go on Reddit and message, oh, well, I want to play D&D. Is there any DM that has a spot open? And then you get 50 messages from 50 random people. And they're like, well, show up at my house at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
and
alone.
Me as a woman, I'm like, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. So public places only. And then everybody gets mad. BarHaven is, a comfortable place. We're all very open. We're, beginner friendly. We're long-term. We have a lot of old, long-term dungeon masters who don't get to play a lot. And so they show up to ours because you can come in at any time, any location, and play a little one-shot game. Or you can do shorter long-term campaign. Like, you just come in and everybody's welcome. And I love going into Penny Whistle on Sundays and they're like, Jack, you're here. And I'm so excited. because it's fantastic. I haven't had really any problems with anybody here.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We do because part of it is we get a lot of the weirdos and the outcasts, but we get the nice weirdos and outcasts. Like, yeah, I'm a weirdo, but I'm not going to be mean about it.
Oh, we're all weird.
We mostly get them. There have been a few
Yeah.
outliers.
There are a few outliers. You all know I'm super.
Luckily, everyone's really good about pointing those people out and calling them out.
Yeah, and addressing, and you all know that I'm very Buddhist about this and refuse to say like they're problem players or problem people. They're people that have an opportunity to grow, and we can offer that to them. And I'm really proud that there are people that early days didn't get along with everybody, or a lot of people were like, I don't want to be at that guy's table, and a lot of them have come a long way and like, no, he's fine. Yeah, he's a little bit of a power gamer, or he makes those dumb jokes, but he's getting the idea that, hey, don't make that joke, that wasn't funny, and moving on. Not across the board. We're not miracle workers. I'm not claiming that, but a little bit of a flex on it is, I've always said with any kind of party, no matter what definition of party you have, if you have twice as many guys at the party than women, you have a bad party. If you have twice as many women at the party than guys, you have a great party. Like, you're gonna have more fun at that party, be it a D&D party, a college party, kegger, a cotillion, whatever it is. A party's gonna be better in that if you go in that direction. And I'm very lucky that most of my games, pretty much high school on, all through a college, I usually had mostly women at my tables.
I'm actually kind of the same.
Yeah.
Most of my games are more women than guys.
Yeah, and then I'm not saying women are better. I'm not saying that, but if your table is welcoming to more women, it tends to be more welcoming to everybody, because we have like octogenarians playing with us.
Yeah, we have a girls group who shows up on Tuesdays sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
Where's Dana? I haven't seen Dana.
isn't Dana? He's in the 70s. Oh no,
I was talking about the ladies. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying across the board. Like we have a lot of different people.
We do. Very proud. We do have
BarHaven
a player
is very
policy.
inclusive.
If you are interested in why we work, go read the player policy, because nobody does. It's only 7 pages long at the bottom of our website. Oh, Jib read the whole thing. I
no one
appreciate
likes
that.
an overachiever.
Love
But
that.
everyone likes Jib, and that's
Yes, it cancels out technically.
Yeah, we're all just neutral. It's fine.
perfect balance.
No, I'm pretty sure all of BarHaven is pro Jib.
Yeah, honestly.
Yep.
Mascot.
You can't tell, but he's smiling really big because we were stroking his ego.
Aw. Okay, well, I had my 2 topics there. Did y'all want to talk about something for 10 whole minutes?
We do have my little thought experiment where we discuss the worst spell.
Ooh.
Okay.
Everybody's going to say the same thing.
Well, pretty much everyone knows. I think we could even do a 3-2-1, but we're not, because that's going to be a pain in the butt. But pretty much across the board, everyone feels True Strike is the dumbest spell in D&D 5e.
Okay, but excluding cantrips, what is the worst spell?
Oh, I
Wait,
suck at
I
spells.
think I have an underdog pick.
Uh-oh,
It's
Nick,
for
what
a
is
slightly
it?
unusual reason.
Hit me.
Okay.
Worst spell, Chill Touch.
Oh, I
And
agree with this.
It's not because what it does is bad.
Is it because everybody thinks
the
it's ice
name is
damage?
Flabbergasts
The name is
new
dumb.
players. It is, if not the worst spell, certainly the worst named spell
I'll agree with that.
I
in
agree
Dungeons
with
and
this.
Dragons, because it does not do cold damage.
Yep.
And it is not a touch spell. It is a ranged spell that does, I believe, necrotic damage.
It's necrotic
It is a
damage.
ranged spell that does necrotic damage. And what is the other thing? It removes your reaction.
No, if you get hit by Chill Touch,
You cannot gain-
you cannot
It
heal.
prevents
Cannot
healing.
heal.
Yeah,
That's right.
Which
It
is really good.
And undead.
They have disadvantage on the save.
It does.
Undead have
Jib's pointing
disadvantage.
out that it does a
So
has
it's a
special
really
effect
good
on
spell.
undead.
It's just stupidly named.
It is very poorly named. I think a very easy fix is just the name, because it should
Certainly,
be
yeah.
I walk on your grave.
That's the whole spell name?
Well, because that's what it's. Chill Touch is supposed to be. It's the chill that runs down your back when someone walks on your grave.
Just
That's
call it
what it's
Grave Walker.
referring to. Well, Grave Walk, people are like, oh, so I can walk over graves.
Oh.
But
I mean, I feel like yours has the same problem, though, right?
yeah, it needs something like a long. But that's what they're going for. Chill Touch is just confusing a name, but it's a great spell. The name is just dumb.
Yeah, it's just from that new player perspective when you're in the game and you're just in combat and trying to run down your list of spells and abilities and trying to figure out what to do on the spot. That's one that trips people up.
Oh no! If
time.
I had $1 for every time someone cast Chill Touch, thinking that it did cold damage,
Yeah.
I wouldn't need a job.
That would be me. He would have a quarter or a nickel or something.
There should be something that's like Grave Throw, and it does. And it's an ice spell that is a touch spell. Just for the symmetry. I need the symmetry. If you're gonna have this poorly named spell, there should be a touch ice spell.
I want you to know that I hate everything about that.
Yeah. Okay, Carlo, you brought it up. What is your worst, hated, awful spell?
My most hated spell isn't actually True Strike. I just like ragging on True Strike because it's very easy. My personal one, the spell, and I am going to go hit with another cantrip. I hate Goodberry because it just makes
What?
you...
Goodberry is a first level spell.
Oh, yeah, yes. But I hate that you don't... Okay, so we don't need survival checks. We don't need to worry about food. It's just I don't want to play this whole chunk of D&D. I don't want survival to come into it. I have a first level spell that is a berry that heals me for 1 hit point and is all the food I need. Just say you don't want to do item management. You don't want to care about rations, and you don't want to have to deal with where are you going to get food? Make a survival check to go hunting. I don't want to. Good berry.
Carlo, I don't want to do item management.
Then don't.
Well, that's
then
the
don't.
thing, 'cause,
but you don't need
yeah,
to have a whole spell about it.
a lot of games will decide they're not going to worry about rations or encumbrance.
Yeah, to be fair, I
My
don't think I've
games.
ever been in a
or
game
even
where
tracking money sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, I don't.
we
even
don't
do
track
that.
money in BarHaven. It's like Who's Line.
Well, they're
Well,
in
we
one
mostly
shot.
play one shots, so yeah.
Yeah, in a one shot, there's no point in it. But it's just because it removes it. I agree. I will, in a campaign, I will look for a reason to give you a bag of holding because I don't want you to have to deal with that.
Oh, sure, bet.
Yeah, but
Bag of holding is usually the first thing I give my players.
exactly. You tripped on a bag of holding into a bag of holding. Have a bag of holding. You
Right.
don't have to worry. No, we're not counting the arrows.
Yeah, but that's something the DM gets to decide, whereas if a player takes Goodberry,
yeah.
then
'Cause-
they're kind of removing that element for the whole party, potentially without asking.
But
But
it's
also-
like having a spell. I don't want to have fight the spell.
But also, it kind of depends on the party. It depends on the game, really.
Yeah.
If it is a survival game, 9 times out of 10, I don't think I've ever seen anybody pack a Goodberry.
I once
if they know
built an
it's good.
entire character around Goodberry, and
Yeah.
it did not work.
Oh, I have.
I thought it would be a
There's a
really
point, Eric,
cool
fingers
idea to have
I don't like the accusatory
a
look.
squirrel animal companion
Cute.
who could go to my downed allies and feed them a Goodberry
That's so cute, though.
if they went unconscious. And the DMs were not having it.
Yep.
They're like, describe to me the mechanics of how your squirrel makes this unconscious party member chew.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you not choke on it? You're not supposed to try to feed food to anyone who's unconscious, right? They'll choke and
It's
die.
all about the storytelling, Carlo.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Use
telling
your
a story,
imagination.
and it goes out the window with Goodberry.
The squirrel's name was
Wow.
Or something
Sabretooth.
I'll eat 9 of my good berries. It gives you enough food to feed you for a day. Mechanically in D&D, that's a pound of food. So you are eating 9 pounds of food. Because I don't care. Then let's just not get into the nitty gritty of it. We just don't worry. You won't have to worry about rations. You found food. We're not doing survival. Sure. We don't need the spell. It is I don't want to have to deal with. I don't have to deal with gutting. I have a spell. We don't need a tavern. We just don't go to taverns. A spell that means we don't go to cities. Because Goodberry is the spell. We don't survive in the wilderness.
Okay, I have something to add to that, though.
Yeah.
In addition to Goodberry, because I have another spell that does kind of the same thing. Tiny Hut.
Liam,
I love Tiny
as your least
Hut.
as a hated spell.
It's not a hated spell, but Tiny Hut does so much for the players that it often like negates
Yeah.
combat scenarios.
At least
Yeah,
that's a higher level spell, though, right? That
There's
could
It's
some
be-
level
levels there.
2.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not a hard
I think it's
spell to
level
come by.
3. Jib says
Jib
3.
says
Level
3.
3.
Thank you, Jib. Thank you.
It's
Okay.
it's
He's
low
gonna check
it's
that.
low
Sounds
enough
right.
for the most players to have access to it.
Tiny hut is a ritual.
It's
Jib
a ritual
says it's
spell.
a ritual.
Yeah, so it is.
Third level ritual.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
take the 10 minutes to cast it. I remember there was a hedge thing. If Jib, if you brought it up, is it a hemisphere or a dome?
I think it's a dome.
I think it's a
At
dome
least
as
at
well.
believe
level
it is half
3,
dome.
that could be something where like your players have ventured out into harsh wilderness a few times already, and now they've decided they've had enough and they want to take that spell.
Yeah.
It's not just something you can take from character creation.
Well,
Jib says
technically,
it's a hemisphere and dome.
it does say hemisphere and dome.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is.
It has a floor.
It has. Yeah.
The ground.
So you
See, that's
can't
the
you
thing.
can't burrow underneath it.
Yeah, that's one of the things because depending on your DM, this is one of those hedge case things. Depending on your DM, it has a floor and therefore not like if it doesn't have a floor, that's bullet time, baby. A bullet comes roaring out of the ground.
Yeah.
And that now you have this problem but we were safe.
Yeah, because I had a game of Curse of Strahd,
Yeah.
and half of that game is encounters at night. That don't mean nothing if they have tiny hut. I have to figure out ways to lure them out.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, a bullet is a monster in D&D that specializes in burrowing and tunneling.
Yeah.
When you say bullet time, it means something else.
Oh no, I did that on purpose. I like being obtuse sometimes. Yeah, it does, especially in that game where it's so much about is like you have to be at night. The monsters walk, and it's like, well, we're gonna sleep till daytime. No, the monsters need the nighttime, and that does absolutely screw that up.
And not every monster can pack dispel magic.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna be able to like deal with it. And you just wake up in the middle of the night. There are 4 vampires outside going like, "Hey, let me in."
Come on,
It's not that scary.
Come on, man, be cool.
Be cool about this. Be a buddy.
Okay. Did anybody else have comments on the
Well,
worst spell?
Do you have a worse
I was
spell?
going to ask you what
I
yours
really
was.
suck at spells. I am not a spell person.
Tiny Hut actually isn't my least favorite spell. My least favorite like first level spell is Tasha's Caustic Brew.
Really?
I don't think I even know that one.
So it does a line damage of acid, but if the enemy makes the save, they take nothing.
What?
You just waste a first level spell. They don't even take half damage.
Oh, that's right.
Really? Okay.
But I think
that's
the trade-off on
that's
it,
so
if I remember
insidious
correctly-
because you might not even pick up on that the first time you're reading the
A
spell.
lot of players don't.
Yeah, because they're used to a spell, a leveled spell. At least will do half damage.
Yeah, it's
I
something.
think the trade-off, if I remember correctly, Jib, if you could help me help on this one again.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Thank you. I believe it takes an act. If they do fail, the damage continues until they take an action to remove it. So it does the damage, and it has the bonus effect of you have to waste a turn.
But I like my guaranteed damage.
Fair, absolutely. But I do like that. I do like that. The slow exploration of kind of getting away from the Mad Libs approach of creating spells, because the tendency is like if they make the save, they have to make a save. On a failure, they take this many D somethings and half as much on that. And then there's a little tweak of flavor. Maybe they go prone. Maybe they have, or maybe they they lose a reaction. I would like things of like. Say another acid spell, you puke acid on them. On a failed save, they take this much damage. If they succeed, they don't take any damage, but they gain vulnerability to that damage type.
Sure, but it's the Willy Wonka of spells. It's like you get nothing. I have lied to you.
Wait, what is?
That's a good point.
What does acid arrow do? What does Melf's acid arrow do? Isn't that a very
Jib's
similar
gonna
thing?
look it up for us.
It's like scorching ray.
Jib knows.
It's an attack roll, but
Attack
on
roll.
light, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
If on a miss, they take half damage.
It does do half damage on a miss.
You roll. It's not a save. You roll to hit them, but it is half damage on a. It is still half damage on a miss.
I'm confirming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Jib
gonna.
is
look
looking
at
it up
I've
on
never
the
seen
internet right
anybody
now.
actually use it.
Do
Sure, I should have a mic for this job.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll mic Jib
Go
up.
find a
This is still our prototype
six
episode.
mic input, and then we can look at that.
Yeah, this isn't going to be published. If you're listening to this now, thanks for giving to the Patreon. That's the only reason I can think you would like to hear this episode.
Oh yeah,
So the,
going full crowdfunded.
I'm just gonna read this one out. It's not
All right, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Jib's gonna read it. Oh,
Jib,
okay.
go
We
on
got
mic,
Jib and
please.
Mike. Hey,
Yo,
everybody
it's
say
me.
hello to Jib.
Skipping the flavor part, make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 4d4 acid damage immediately and 2d4 acid damage at the end of its next turn. On a miss, the arrow splashes the target with acid for half as much of the initial damage and no damage at the end of its turn.
Oh, that's way better.
Is
I
that
like
is that a level 2 spell? No.
He's
Level 2.
it's level 2, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I like those little hit. This makes it more complicated for early players.
I feel like I should do more damage at a level 2 spell.
It was
Yeah.
what 44 plus
44?
2d6.
I'd rather just throw.
64 total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Jib says
doesn't
he
do anything,
just
have it.
does all the damage at once because why bother waiting until the end of the turn? It would
Yeah.
hardly
I
make
think
a
I
difference.
would do the same.
Sam.
Yeah,
Okay.
the hedge bet of like something might interrupt that something in the. No, let's keep going. That's not a fun way to add flavor, to add a texture to the spell.
Long story short, acid spells get the shaft.
Oh, as
Really?
a damage type, yeah. It's one of the ones that get ignored a lot.
Yes, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wrap it up.
Yeah,
So
we did great.
today is our pilot episode. So we may or may not publish this. It could be on the Patreon. It could be on Discord. It could be on YouTube. It could be on Apple Podcasts. We're going to find out.
It could be under a smoldering ruin in
It
the
could be.
apocalyptic wasteland. You now wander fruitlessly.
Yeah, it could be stolen by somebody else. You have no idea.
We're not at Reno.
So
We could be. They don't know.
how to get involved with BarHaven. BarHaven, once again, is kind of a tabletop D&D nerd community in Houston. We partner with bars all over Houston to bring in a party, basically, a D&D party on their slowest night. It's a great community to find friends, fellow players, people interested in the same hobbies as you. We've gotten a couple marriages out of it, like I said. I'm not saying we're a dating service, but similar interests, you know?
Repeat, we are
As-
not a dating service.
As someone who literally just wandered in off the street and found a pretty incredible community that I'm now recording a podcast for, I'll attest to all of that.
Yeah.
Except for the dating
He's not
thing.
married
I
yet.
don't know about that.
As someone of the older generation, oh no, that made me sound too old.
You're not old.
I'm not. I am a crisp 29, just like I was last year.
I'm
It is
here.
a
You're all
great
children.
It is a great place to find friends.
But how to find those friends is the good question. So we have a calendar every month. We might be updating our website soon if I have enough time to do so. We have weekly meetups as well as larger events. All of that will be online on Discord, on our website, on Facebook, on Instagram, our Reddit. Don't look at our Reddit. I'm not a Reddit person, okay? I was a DeviantArt nut, okay? Not good at Reddit.
Ooh, BarHaven DeviantArt account.
Ooh, no. Well, they did put up that no nudity policy, so
Then what's the point?
that's why nobody's on DeviantArt, okay?
That's it. I'm out.
All of our games are usually pop in and play. So if you want to show up, go for it. All of those pop in and play games are level 3, 5th edition. You can pretty much do whatever you want. That's not saying do whatever you want, but you know, be as creative as you can. Put in as much chaos as you'd like. If you make your DM cry, I'll give you $10. It might be worth it. Don't do that.
What do I get if I make you cry?
You make me cry, I'm in your game.
Yeah.
That's how I
You
advertise
literally
my
killed my
campaigns.
best friend, my character's best friend, within
I
an
didn't
hour.
kill her. She's still alive. You know that.
I never visited her. As far as I'm
That
aware,
just means
she's
you're a bad
still-
friend.
She's still
And
unconscious.
that's all the time we have for today, folks. We're going to need to shut this down before it gets violent.
Okay, but you can find us on Discord. That's probably where we're most online, and then our website. I am Jack. I'm the coordinator with BarHaven.
I'm Carlo. I'm the Master of Fables.
This is Nick. I'm here also.
This is Brandon, your absolute favorite.
And then on the other line, we have
Extra bass.
Jib
Oh my
behind
God.
the scenes doing our audio. This has been the BarHaven Podcast pilot episode, episode 1. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't get eaten by a group.